Hey, good morning to everybody in LinkedIn world. How are you today? We are spinning around in the world of LinkedIn. I'd like to thank everybody for being with us today. I'd like to thank my production every day. And we have a great program today on LinkedIn Live. We have a guest, Peter Heyman, life coach. Let me bring on Peter Heyman with us. There's my production team. Thank you so much. And we're going to pop on, and there we are. Well, hey, good morning to everybody in LinkedIn world. How are you today? We are spinning around in the world of LinkedIn. I'd like to thank everybody for being with us today. I'd like to thank my production every day. And we have a great program today on LinkedIn Live. We have a guest, Peter Heyman, life coach. Let me bring on Peter Heyman with us. There's my production team. Thank you so much. And we're going to pop on, and there we are. Welcome. How are you? My name is Paul Kopp. I'm your host. Those of you know me for the last 12, 13 years on LinkedIn as an advisor, financial advisor, and actually a executive business coach, career coach. We have with us today a tremendous guest, an Amazon author, a absolutely astute life coach. He comes from Nyack, New Jersey. I'm going to bring him into the studio with us now. Round of applause for Peter Heyman. And he likes to be called Coach Pete. Okay, so we're going to call him. Hey, Peter, how are you?
Hey,
Good
Paul.
morning to you.
Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody out there in LinkedIn land. Thanks.
LinkedIn lands. That's right. All right. Before I start, if you'd be so kind, I'd like to give a shout out to the people around the world that are watching us tonight. I thank you all, and there are a lot. I thank you. The comments are coming in already, so I just have to thank you. This is this is great. All right, out in Canada, Adele Campbell. Thank you so much, Paul Rogers, an astute executive coach. Adele actually is going to be one of our guests. I think she's coming on next Friday as an artist. We're going to go out to the Philippines for a minute, spin around for a second. I have Maria Fatima Cochon. She is an executive assistant, and I thank her for tuning in. Dr. Laurel Cobb, not Kopp, K-O-P-P, Cobb, C-O-B-B. Thank you, out in Chicago. Rob Sharkey, wherever you are, thank you. Oh, one more for Canada. Paul Rogers, Cody McGriff, a coach out in Oregon. Thank you for tuning in. I thank you all. Peter, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing good. August 14th, 2020, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a great coach with us. Coach, I just want to jump in. You and I have been talking about a lot of things over the days, and we're going to go over a little bit about our story as well. But I'm going to back out for a second. Tell me what we mean in regards to life coaching, that instructions are not included. Tell me what we mean by that, Peter. Go ahead.
Well, sure. I always think in terms of coaching as relating to the transitions of life. Life is filled with ages, stages, life transitions. And no matter how old you are, you go through a transition stage. And at each stage, most of you know, life does not come with an instruction sheet. It just doesn't. It doesn't come with an instruction manual. So we're kind of left to our own devices to manage and handle things as they arise. And that's where coaching can come in, because coaching can be a great support. A coach is a mentor, a coach is a guide, and it can be really helpful to get a coach that you could team up with and work on the transitions that come up and handle them in a smooth, productive, purposeful way.
Absolutely. That sounds great. So it's just like anything else, and I'm going to get onto that because I have a lot of people that ask me that question as well. Um, why coaching? Why coaching? Why should I use a life coach? What are the advantages, disadvantages? Kind of run us through that, and then I'm going to talk about something else that you mentioned to me, as well as something that's extremely important. It's called purpose. But let's
Sure.
get on to why is a life coach right for me, or how do I know whether they're right for me? Go
Well,
ahead, you take it from there.
Paul, if you think about it, if you're going to start, I like the sports analogy. If you're going to start a new sport or activity like golf or tennis or track and field, you don't do it on your own. You go to a coach, or you have a coach that can train you, coach you, guide you into the proper steps. So why don't we do that about life's challenges? I think it's really important. And any coach worth their weight um, should be open to coaching themselves. And that's been true for me. I've had coaching, counseling, and I really believe in it. At different stages of life, it's good to have somebody that you can turn to, an objective person, not necessarily deeply involved in your personal life. Family members are great. Friends are fantastic to have as a support system. But it can be really, really helpful to have somebody who's objective, kind of a third eye or a third ear to help navigate through the transitions and challenges of life. And that's what coaching is all about.
Perfect, perfect. So another thing that people come to me with as a coach, and I'm sure they come to you, and sometimes we're all in bed late at night looking up at the ceiling, and we're saying, you know what, I don't know whether I have a purpose here. I don't know why I'm here. I go to work every day, I do my thing, I come home, I hug my wife, I hug my family, I do my duties, I do my chores, and then I get up the next morning and I do it again. But I feel like there might be something missing. Feel that there is something missing, and I think maybe, Coach Pete, if you could actually go on to what might be missing there. What is something called that that might be missing? Purpose. What does purpose mean? And I know it means something different to everybody else, but can you kind of run that through us for us, if you don't mind? Thanks.
Sure. If there were only a street sign like that or a road map that could guide us to purpose, that would be awesome. But
That's true. Go ahead.
some people, Paul, are raised with this concept of a life purpose. And if that's the case, you're really fortunate. But many of us, and I'll include myself, Coach Pete, I wasn't raised to think in terms of life purpose. I was raised more to think in terms of like transactional career. Like, you find a career, you find a way of making money, you find a way of being independent, and that leads its own path. But what about life purpose? What about what you're here on this earth to do? And many of us don't know what that is for ourselves. It's more, as I say, transactional. We're in a situation, we're doing the best we can, we're making a living, maybe raising a family, maybe partnered, having a life, but is it purposeful? Is it thoughtful? Is it mindful? And it's never too late to find your life purpose. If like you're like me and just didn't get started that way, and you found yourself on a certain path, or find yourself on a certain path, there's the pathway right there.
There you go. Yeah. This way,
choose.
that way. Who knows?
I've been there. I know that feeling.
Okay, I'm gonna give you another one. Hold on one second. This might go to purpose as well. Boop. There you go. Balance, work,
that is
life.
really perfect, Paul, because that's really what my coaching is all about, is finding that balance between work, career, life, and finding that right balance, relationship, family, interests, hobbies. Finding the balance is a key about
Right. Right.
coaching. But getting
Well,
back to, it's
I'm
never,
sorry. Go ahead.
it's never, finish this thought. It's never too late
Sure.
to find your life purpose or to repurpose your life, depending on what
Ah,
age and stage you're at. You could always find a new purpose. And I have some exercises I take people through to really help identify what that core purpose is in you. And it's a balance of your talents, what you're good at, what you like or love doing, combined with taking a look at the world. What does the world want? What does the world need? And very important, if it's a career, what will the world pay for? And so
ah,
we look at those concentric circles, and in the core, we can together find your life purpose.
perfect. Pete, I have to tell you, we've known each other for a while. We're going to go over that as well. I'm going to give him a little breather on the other end of the screen. Maybe you can get a quick drink of water. Um, Pete has put all this together in an Amazon book, which is on Amazon right now, and we're gonna go there with him for a minute. You could get his book, so I'm gonna do a shameless plug for him. You could get his book on Amazon, but there is something different about his book that I've discussed with him. We are in an area where he explained, life doesn't come with instructions. He did a little something different with his book. And I'm going to let him talk about that. Just let me get the book on the screen from the production house here, and let's see whether I can get that up for him. And I'm going to go over that with everybody. His book is called Get Out of Your Way and Get On With It. It's a practical guide to stop self-judgment and negative thinking. Peter, I'm going to let you go on with this, okay? Here's another shot of Coach Pete. I'm going to put up his telephone number and his website a little bit later, but let's talk a little bit about why you made this book and what's in it for our audience.
Sure, thanks. It was a great undertaking. I never really thought of or had a goal of writing a book until I really got into my coaching practice, and I realized I wanted to put to paper what my coaching practice, my coaching philosophy is all about. And that's what's in the book. And what Paul was referring to, the book is kind of a workbook. It's almost like a manual. So I wrote it purposefully so people could get a lot from the book itself on their own. I take them through some of the exercises I use with my coaching clients, and taking a self-inventory. Where are you at in life, which I always recommend. What are your strengths? What are your capabilities? What are your skills? What are your passions? We forget about looking at what our passions are in life and seeking that in life. And again, as Paul said before, kind of finding that life balance. And so my book is purposefully written to be a workbook. So you can get a lot out of the book yourself. Now, I always offer that, and it's in the book itself, I'm available as you get into the book, as you finish the book. You can call Coach Pete and I will help you process the book as a service to you. And also you may need further coaching, and it would be my honor to become your career and life coach. Or you could find another coach that's suited for you. But so that's what the book is about. It's about literally clearing the path, clearing your past and getting on with your future. That's what it's meant by the title. Get out of your own way and get on with it. I don't know about you all out there in LinkedIn land, but sometimes, I know for myself, sometimes in my life, I have gotten in my own way and I have felt stuck by that, sometimes not even being aware of it. But I'm here to tell you, and the book is about understanding your path, your history, what's blocking you, and how to literally put it in the past, and rather than bringing it to the present and future and continuing to be blocked or stuck, you can clear it out. But first comes an awareness. First, you have to really look at it. And that's what the book is about. That's what my coaching practice is about. There's a distinction I want to make too, that coaching is not therapy. I'm very aware of that distinction. I get some of my best clients as referrals from therapists, by the way.
Right.
And
right.
they understand. Coaching is more about today and tomorrow, setting goals, and even more important than setting overarching goals, it's setting the steps to reach to get to those goals. That's
Right.
what coaching is about. So
Right.
get out of your own way, clear it out, get rid of the negative thinking, get rid of the limitation, and get on with it.
Perfect.
That's what the book is about.
Perfect. Pete, we're getting some questions coming in from all over the place. I have to
Awesome.
tell you, I thank you all from Germany, Chicago, all over. I mean, this is good stuff. I'm this Dr. Laura Cobb. Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to have you with us. Also, I want to let me see where we could take this one. This is a kind of a tough question, Paul Schweiger. He does. I've known him for many, many years. Let me see whether I could post this question on here and see whether you could field this. Or maybe this is an interesting question. Paul, thank you so much for this question. This pulls something out. Peter, can you see that?
Yes.
What is the difference between a coach and a mentor and a personal success circle? Very interesting because they intertwine a little bit. Go ahead, Peter. Take it.
Thanks, Paul, for that question. Two Pauls I'm talking to.
There you go.
I'll just give you my take on it. Paul, you probably have a sense of your definition of coaching, mentoring, and a success.
Absolutely.
I was talking to the other Paul.
Oh, okay. Paul, you could hear this. He's a great guy. If you want a tech guy that has to do with viruses and stuff, that man with the beard on the bottom is the guy. Go ahead.
Cool. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about my sense of coaching, mentoring. In a sense, a coach and a mentor are very similar. They're almost interchangeable in a sense. I think a coach, a life coach, is really a mentor. But a mentor could be somebody in your life just naturally, a teacher that you had, somebody in the neighborhood, somebody that you looked up to, somebody that you value. It could be in your career or work life. A mentor can be someone in management in your company or in another company that you value. So they can mentor you. They can help you sort out maybe your career or even life issues, but it's not necessarily an official coach that you pay for, have regular sessions. So that's
absolutely.
That's one distinction. And the other one, it's off the screen, but I think you said a personal circle, life circle.
Yeah, a personal circle. I'm sorry, the production team took it off. Let me see whether I get that back because it is a great question. There's no doubt. Okay. There we go.
Personal success circle.
I appreciate it, production
I
people.
sometimes talk about this in a career sense, the need to put together kind of a mastermind group, a personal mastermind group, people that are connected. If you're talking about career, people who are connected to your career that you pull together and share information about. So you could do that, or it could be on a personal level. And Paul, I'm reminded, I'm going to go back decades, okay, when we were kids. I first knew Paul when we were in junior high school, and then through high school. We played ball together.
That's not Paul Schweiger, that's me. He's talking about.
That's right. And we were in kind of a personal success circle that we were as high school students for ourselves. There were 8 of us. We called ourselves the Radburn Boys. That was a section of town. And I don't know how it got started, but we all got together and we had that kind of personal success circle, meaning we would get together in a circle and we would talk. We would talk about what was going on with us, maybe in a dating situation with girls or school or sports or just our own self-confidence. And we formed this personal group that we met through high school and, called each other on our stuff, and confronted each other and also supported each other. So that happened very naturally. That can be that personal success group. And you can do that at any stage of your life. And I really recommend that because in addition to a personal or life coach that you have a formal relationship with, it's great to have a support system. And I think the other, Paul, I think that's what was in your question. So coaching, mentoring, and that success circle, they each can work beautifully together.
Great answer.
As long as you're open, staying open to the possibilities, open to learning from other people and each other, and really taking a look at yourself. That's a lot what all of those ideas are about. So thanks for that question. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's he's a very thoughtful guy. I haven't gotten in touch with him for a while, but he's into technology just way beyond my comprehension. We touched on his book. I just wanted to mention once again Peter's book, and I'm going to put it up in a minute. Again, I'll have the production team do that. It is on Amazon. It is a little bit different, I have to tell you that much, because of the fact that it's kind of like a workbook that brings you on through that. So you could get involved with him on a one-to-one basis through his book. There he goes. He's upstaging the production crew. I'm going to get into two other things, or actually one thing that comes to us a lot, and I think we touched on it. We're going to work with a word that doesn't mean being stuck out in the snow or being stuck, whatever, but it does have some reference to that. We get that when people come in into our offices quite a bit. I'm going to let Coach Pete go with this. This is a big thing in life coaching and in life. So I'm going to let you take away with that. I'm going to pull out completely. You do your thing. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Well, the sense of feeling stuck is really important for a lot of people, and it can relate to your work life, your career. You can feel stuck in a career, not going in the direction you'd like, or not being as fulfilling or as purposeful as you like. You can feel stuck in a relationship that isn't really quite meeting your needs, or you could be stuck out of a relationship, you're seeking a relationship, but feeling stuck and not knowing how to get back in the game. And, we should really talk about what's going on in the world, in our country, all over the world today with the health pandemic, with the COVID-19. I mean, that is throwing people through all kinds of challenges, feeling stuck in their house, feeling stuck in quarantine, stuck in distancing, stuck being removed from close family and friends, stuck trying to figure out how to continue a career, if you're fortunate to be able to hold on to it and do it online. So there's a lot, I just wanted to make reference that right now is a very sensitive time to a lot of the issues we're talking about. And so this idea of being stuck, whether it's because of the health crisis or not, many of us have had that feeling in the past. Sometimes we, on a career level, we get into a career that has a life of its own, but maybe it's not really fulfilling or satisfying, but we don't know how to break out of it. There's a statistic that I'm aware of that many of you may be aware of. 70% of people in the United States, I can't talk worldwide, 70% of the people in the United States are feeling unhappy in their work and their career. Well, that's amazing.
True.
I believe you shouldn't have to feel stuck in that situation. And no matter what your background, and I'm not minimizing the difference between environment, how you were raised, where you were raised, what circumstances, what social issues affect you. All of that is true, can be true, and can have an effect on you. But we also can do something about whatever circumstances we're in if we take a good hard look at it, take a personal inventory, see what's available, see what we need to do, talk to people, get support, maybe get support from a coach, and you can work through that and get out of that feeling of being stuck. And no matter what, whether it's career, relationship, and just personally, self-esteem, you don't have to feel stuck. You can break out of that. Sometimes you need a little help, and that's what coaching's for.
Exactly. Perfect answer for that, because a lot of people that we see in our practices, ever since we started, are people that come into that stuck type of situation. Yeah. And we as life coaches are obviously trained to do that. Hold on one second. Sorry, Pete. I told people not to call now, but that's the way it goes. I just want to get into a couple other things, Pete, with you, if I can. And I'm going to take you off the screen for a second. So I'm just going to actually, let's go the other way for a minute. Sorry. There we go. Peter, what brought you to life coaching? How did this go? And I know you have a long story about it. We're into about 24 into our broadcast. Tell us a little bit about what brought you into life coaching. It's an interesting story. Go ahead.
Well, I'll try to be brief, but my life isn't so brief, so bear with me. But my story is kind of a back to the future story, at least in terms of my career. I started out, I was really lucky when I graduated college. I got a job as a director of a youth program, a personal growth youth center in Connecticut. And it was a great opportunity. I absolutely loved it. I did it for 5 years, made no money, very low money, but I didn't need money. Everything I owned fit in my Volkswagen Beetle. That'll give you an idea of how long ago it was. But so I was happy doing it. Now, again, I wasn't really purposeful. I wasn't thinking about that, but I knew I loved the work. Well, I had been dating this wonderful young woman named Lois, who we were about to get married, and we're still married. We've been married for forever, and I'm so fortunate. And when we were about to get married, I realized, hey, I better figure out how to make a better income, make some money. So I did for myself what I now do so many years later with my coaching clients. I took a personal inventory. What are my strengths? What are my skills? What are my capabilities? And I realized I was a good listener, a good communicator, good motivator, even inspirational. And you had to have those qualities to get through to teenagers. I mean, people who raise teenagers or work as teachers, you know that. So then I talked to a whole bunch of people. I mentioned before that I've been very open to counseling and personal growth. And at the time, I was in a group therapy situation in New York City. So that put me in with a lot of people. And I talked to everybody in my network about what they did. And I figured out from business people, from entrepreneurs, what I could do with my skills. And I realized listening, communicating, motivating were great for sales. And it's true. Those are great qualities to have for sales. So I got a job in sales that led to a 30+ year career in sales, marketing, and advertising. I liked it. I was good at it. I was successful in terms of providing for my family along with my partner. We raised 2 sons, had a really great life, moved around the country a lot for my career and her career. Pretty successful. I'm proud of it. Was it my life purpose? The answer was no. And I found that out from going to a counselor again at another stage of my life, having to do with parenting issues. I was getting very angry and I realized it's me, it's not my teenage son. And he sent me to a program that was called Volunteer Counseling Services. And I became a volunteer counselor for 12 years, 12 years of being trained, supervised in counseling. That began my curve, my back to the future story. And I had the idea of getting into coaching while I was doing that counseling work. I loved it.
Right.
Now, I got in my own way for a few of those years, not wanting to leave the money of sales, marketing, and advertising.
Wow.
And taking the plunge into coaching. But eventually, I ended up finding a program called Landmark Worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
You may know of that. It's an awesome personal growth tools for living program. And it was going through 3 of those programs that they offer. And I realized
you had something.
What my life purpose was, and
right.
Time's a waste and go do it. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I got coaching to be a coach, and then went into my coaching career. So I am back to my future of connecting and working with people in a purposeful way. And I couldn't be happier doing it.
A whole circle. Wow. What a great story. I have to tell you, Peter and I go way back. As he said before, we had our own group therapy when we were in high school, and we didn't even know it. And I think that defined a lot of our futures, actually. We put things on the line. We were straight with one another, and we marched on through. I'd like to thank Peter, first of all. I'm putting his website. If you want to get with Peter, it's called Breakthrough with CoachPete.com. And I'm going to see whether we can get his telephone number up there. Thank you, production people. I appreciate it. It's 845-358-5703. I'll repeat it again. Also, you should know his book is on Amazon, or if you want to go to his website or call him directly. He is in Nyack, New York, which is upstate New York for people around the world. He is in Eastern Standard Time. I have to ask him one more question, if he would be so kind to stay with us. I know we're almost a half hour. Wow, that's great for us. There's something that I'd like to hear him explain to our audience, and it's called the takeaway for today. We've started this today. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Peter is the guinea pig that's going to take this, but we're going to ask this question of all our guests. So for all the people that are watching this around the world that are prospective guests for us on our LinkedIn Live, this is your last question that you're going to be asked. Tell our audience a little bit about the takeaway today. You could go from what's happening in the environment to what your practice is, to you just take it. And I'm going to back out once again completely. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks so much, Paul. I really enjoyed this today, and thanks everybody.
You're welcome.
For coming here. The one thing I just want to mention, and you put up my phone number. My practice is mostly on the phone or Zoom, so I can work with people literally anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world.
Great.
Some coaching clients I've had for quite some time that I've never really met face to face. It can be just like we're talking now. It's very effective. So I just wanted to let you know that. And the takeaway for me, I'd love everybody to take away the fact that really it's never too late to find your purpose in life and to make those changes that you would really love to do, to follow your passion, whether it's personally in relationships, self-esteem, career, hobbies, whatever part of your life. You can make the changes to make your life more fulfilling and purposeful and joyful. And that's what coaching is all about. And I know Paul is an example of this because he's gone through a path of transition in his life, in a career, from one type of career to another, that all led to this moment for his life, same as I had. So we're kind of examples of it's really at any stage of life. And I mean any stage. I work with people in their early 20s, and I just started, somebody referred me to their mother, their quote, elderly mother. I hate using that word, but their mother, and it was a great referral. And she's retired, turning 70 years old, and wants to find purpose at this stage of her life. She uses the phrase, the fourth quarter of her life. And it's, so any age, any stage, you can make the changes that'll make your life more purposeful, more joyful, more meaningful. And I thank everybody so much. This was so much fun. I hope it was.
I appreciate it. Peter, you did a great job. I knew you would anyway, but knowing you for such a long time and your expertise, I mean, I have to tell you, Peter was smart when he was younger. He's smarter now. As we could kid each other. I'd like to thank everybody here for listening into the broadcast. Once again, it's Peter Heyman. Let me put the website up again for you, www.breakthroughwithcoachpete.com. For those of you that want to get in touch with him immediately, go ahead and do it. I mean, the gentleman has a lot of expertise. He's good at what he's doing. He's consistent. And quite frankly, from a personal reference, we've known each other, since we were younger, as they say, way younger. But I just like to thank him. I'd like to thank his wife for putting up with him for all these years as well. Lois, thank you so much if you're listening. I've known her since high school as well. So once again, to all my LinkedIn audience, I thank you for coming with us. I thank the production team for helping us out with these screens because they keep going up and down. And Peter Heyman, thank you so much. Coach Pete, thank you. And for everybody, we will see you next Friday at 10 o'clock. I will let you know going on. Peace to everybody. Peter, thank you so much again.
Thanks, brother.
We'll see you guys. Have a